Thank you, everybody, for being here today. My name is Keena Collins. I am currently serving as the chair and the convener for the Illinois Council on Women and Girls. We started out this venture about 12 months ago, a year ago, and I had no idea that it would turn into all of this. Not only is this council necessary, it's the right time, it's always been the right time, but women and girls across the state of Illinois want to close the equity gap. They want to be a part of policy and statewide programs. And so we went on to this venture of bringing community partners and elected officials together to make this a reality. And we are urging the governor to sign House Bill 5544, the Illinois Council on Women and Girls Act, because we have a rich tradition and history in the state of Illinois of being a breeding ground for powerhouse women that not only change Illinois policy, but change American history. We are the home state of Ida B. Wells, Jane Addams, Hillary Rodham Clinton, and Michelle Obama. We are known for lifting up the voices of women in our state, and hopefully this council will serve as a convener for great ideas. Without further ado, I would love to bring forth State Representative Anna MOELLER, who carried the bill in the House and helped with the coalition building of it all, and also thank all of the community partner organizations that are here today and those who could not make it from all across the state. We had the opportunity to visit 68 counties out of 102 and host focus groups from all the way up in Galena, Illinois, to Moline, speaking to college professors and teachers, down to Cahokia and Metro East. We covered the gamut when we were building this council out. And so I would love for State Representative MOELLER to step forward at this time and speak on it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you to the media, the advocates who have worked tirelessly to bring this bill forward, and my legislative colleagues for being here today. As you heard from Keena, this has truly been a grassroots effort, and I applaud all of the individuals who've been part of bringing this bill to where it is today. I was proud to sponsor House Bill 5544, legislation to create the Council on Women and Girls, and I urge Governor Rauner to sign this bill. There is no doubt that the status of women has improved over the past several decades, but that advancement didn't happen without concerted effort, and we are still far from full equality. Women still make at least 20% less than men for equal work, and today marks Black Women Equal Pay Day, a day where African American women in our state and our country would have had to work all of 2017 and up to 2018 in this state to make as much as white men made all in 1 year. Women still lack access to affordable childcare. Women must still pay the biggest sacrifice in caring for their families due to lack of paid leave options. Elderly women are still more likely to live in poverty than elderly men, and women are still underrepresented in corporate and political leadership positions. And at a time when long fought for rights and protections from discrimination for women in all aspects of society are under attack by the Trump administration, now more than ever, we need to step up our efforts here in Illinois to protect and advance the rights of women. The establishment of the Illinois Council on Women and Girls will ensure that their voices will be heard and have a lasting influence on legislation and state policy making. So this bipartisan council of 21 members from across the state will have 8 areas of impact on women and girls: education, economic opportunity, workforce equity, leadership, healthcare, safety, and the unique challenges faced by our transgendered community and women of color. The need for this council is clear. Governor Rauner has the opportunity to stand on the side of women across the state by signing this bill and affirm the principle that when women succeed, Illinois succeeds. We need Bruce Rauner to give women a seat at the table as we all recognize it's long past time for unfair treatment and inequality to end. Thank you so much. With that, I'm very proud to introduce Senator Jackie Collins. She carried this bill in the Senate, and she's long been a champion for women's issues in the General Assembly, and I'm proud to serve with her and on this initiative. So, with that.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining us today as we call on Governor Rauner to sign House Bill 5544 that creates the Illinois Council on Women and Girls. I sponsored this legislation in the Senate for many reasons, but to begin with, I did it because in my life, I've seen incredible changes in the openness and equality of our country. These sweeping changes did not happen on their own. It's comforting to think that progress simply causes systemic bias to dissolve at an appointed time. But to think so is to be complacent and complicit. Change never comes without resolve, solidarity, and debate. We must always be actively rooting out entrenched systemic discrimination. The Illinois Council on Women and Girls will study the things that hold back half of our population from achieving their full potential. And it will periodically report on ways we could tear down the barriers that hold back our sisters and our daughters. In doing so, it will start the conversations that result in change. I urge Governor Rauner to be part of the change we want to see in the world and to sign House Bill 5544. But let me just also say in those statistics that Representative MOELLER mentioned, yes, white women make 79%, or 79 cents on each dollar of men, white men. But African American women only make 63 cents on the dollar, and Hispanic women only make 48 cents to the dollar. So we have much work to do, but I'm glad that all the partners are standing with us, and we have rolled up our sleeves because it's greater than the Me Too movement. It's greater than the Me Too movement because, of course, we have sexual harassment, but we also have economic disparities and discrimination that we have to fight against. And so I have the honor now of introducing the drafter of the legislation, MAARIA MOZAFFAR. Not only is she the drafter of the bill, but she's also a social justice advocate and civil rights attorney, and I'm so honored to bring her to the forum.
Thank you, Senator Collins. I agree with everything that the past speakers have stated, so I'm going to give you some real clear sound bites. Number one, empowerment has to be intersectional. Number two, Governor Rauner has to be on the right side of history for Illinois, for women, for mothers, for daughters, for sisters. We are coming here today not just for a specific issue, but for the community as a whole. Because without women, there are no men. And women are the foundation of every society and every community. When you look at healthcare, when you look at employment, when you look at education, if the foundation of our society is broken, disadvantaged and discriminated against, the society will crumble. Women have understood that for a long time. I'd like to state that women have now been marching since 2017, since the day after President Trump got elected. But they have been doing the heavy lifting the whole time. So women have a tradition of coming in and solving problems. The march was just to show people that they have always been active. This council and this policy platform specifically puts the power of marchers into the hands of policymakers. So the reality is we can advocate, we can make statements, we can hold press conferences, but until we can actually craft rules to change how an individual functions in a society, we don't make any advancement. What's interesting about this council is that now this council is going to be looking at specific issues that affect women, coming up with policy proposals, giving them to legislators, and then pushing the governor to adopt them. So no longer are we waiting just for legislators, but community members are taking a front seat at the table. I'd also like to state that this council is an example of how citizens and legislators work together. Many times, as you see in town halls, we have legislators that don't meet with constituents. They have legislations that they haven't even fully read. Our experience with Senator Collins and Representative MOELLER has been completely the opposite. We have worked as a partnership, and this is a testament and an example to citizens that when you want to solve a problem in your society, write the idea yourself, bring your partners, and meet a legislator that is sincere. And that's where we're at. So thank you for coming today. Now it's my honor to introduce Representative THERESA Ma, who also understood the importance of this council and represents the General Assembly as representatives and as women as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you. It is an honor and a pleasure to be here with all of you today, and so great to see all of the partners standing with us. I am proud to be one of the co-sponsors of this piece of legislation, along with many of my women colleagues in the General Assembly, and we are living at a time when there is a clear equity gap that needs to be addressed, and this council will provide an institutional home, a forum in which to do this. And I urge Governor Rauner to sign this piece of legislation. We need to have women at the table, to give them a voice, and to allow them to have a say in the policies that we develop here at the state level. So again, I'm proud to be involved in being a champion for this legislation, and I urge the governor to please sign it. Thank you.
At this time, I would like for Representative Melissa CONYEARS-ERVIN to give a statement.
Good afternoon. I am Melissa CONYEARS-ERVIN, State Representative of the 10th District, which is primarily the west side of Chicago. And as we know, we see disparities all the time when it comes to women. Obviously, I'm a minority female, so we see disparity, as we say, double take. But what I think is so important about this group that we have together today, and it is actually encouraging to see so many women here at this conference, just to say we are showing strength in numbers. We're sending a message to the governor, and not just the governor, all the officials across the state. We're sending it to the White House that we want our fair share. At the end of the day, there should be no disparity, not just with women, with color, no disparity whatsoever. And we just want to make certain that we show our support and send the message to Governor Rauner that he needs to sign this legislation. We're not going anywhere. We're sending the message that we will go forth no matter what. We will make certain that there is support not only with the governor, but in the House of Representatives as well as the Senate. Thank you so much.
Thank you to all of the state legislators who really poured into the General Assembly, spoke with their colleagues, spoke with their constituents, and really did the groundwork and laid the groundwork. But now my favorite part is the community partners who I've had the tremendous opportunity and honor to get to know throughout these last 12 months, hear from, host focus groups, and get a great idea of how this council should be built. And so I would like to start with our first advocacy partner, KAETHE HOFFER.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is KAETHE HOFFER. I'm the Executive Director of the Chicago Alliance Against Sexual Exploitation, and it was my great privilege to serve on the Governor's Commission on the Status of Women in Illinois during the George Ryan administration. It was an amazing, multiracial, powerful group, a public-private partnership of women leaders from across the state who came together in partnership to advance equality and equity for women and girls across the state. It dissolved because it did not have a statutory basis. There was not a law that established it. It existed exclusively at the pleasure of the governor. Because of the experience I had, I believe that Governor Rauner has a great opportunity to serve girls and women, and thus everyone in Illinois, by signing this bill into law. During my time on the Governor's Commission, I saw that amazing progress for women could be accomplished through bipartisan public-private partnerships, such as is embodied in the Illinois Council on Women and Girls. In only 4 years, my committee alone, which was the Violence Against Women Committee, which I co-chaired with Audrey Roan Peoples, was able to play a key role in the passage of 3 important pieces of legislation which have benefited women throughout the state enormously since their enactment. The Gender Violence Act, the Civil No Contact Order Act, the Victims Employment Safety and Security Act, all became law thanks to, in part, thanks to the work and leadership of citizens, some of whom are behind me on this venue, and organizations, many of whom are represented here, and thanks to leadership from the Governor's Commission. All of these laws are now being used regularly by people in Illinois, mostly women, in ways that meaningfully speed women's access to safety and security in the aftermath of sexual and gender-based violence. I am hopeful and excited about the work that could be done by the new Council on Girls and Women, because while Illinois is a great state in which to be a woman, there is still a lot you can predict about the life of an Illinoisan, even if all you know about them is their gender. If we don't come together to change things, sexual harassment, imagine a hospital newborn ward with an equal number of girls on one side and boys on the other. If we don't come together to change how things are right now, sexual harassment and sexual assault will hurt between 1/4 and 1/3 of the girls in that room, while the boy side of the room will have lifetime earnings that dwarf the girl side of the room. Poverty and sexual violence are just 2 examples of real problems that deserve to be eradicated in their entirety, but they are also problems that disproportionately hurt girls and women, and especially women of color. And because they are gendered problems, they need to be addressed with energy and effort that sees and takes into account the lived experiences and collective wisdom of people who prioritize and care about women's lives. The Illinois Council on Girls and Women is an important step forward, and I urge Governor Rauner to sign it.
Good morning or afternoon. I'm Anna Valencia. I'm a city clerk of Chicago. I'm 33 years old, a Latina, and the second woman to ever hold this position since 1837, which is, it's great we applause, but to me, that's shameful. My story and my lived experience was a hard place to navigate to get to this position, and it shouldn't be. We should not be celebrating until we're celebrating the 50th and 100th woman in my power position. And so that's why I want to really give a lot of shout out to this young woman, Kina, that she was so moved and in her 20s and so dedicated. And it's going to be the young people like Kina that are going to lead elected officials like myself. And I'm so proud to be an advocate for this council. And I feel like I'm going to a lot of press conferences lately to call on Governor Rauner to do his job. And so I am standing here once again to ask you, Governor, where your heart and your priorities are, and for you to sign HB 5544 and do what's right for our women and girls, because until we achieve parity, we're never going to have the next Anna Valencia City Clerk, Governor, or President of the United States. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm SUJATA, President and CEO of Chicago Foundation for Women. The Illinois Council on Women and Girls embodies a core principle behind Chicago Foundation for Women's community values and investments. Women and girls must have a seat at the table and a voice in the policies that shape their opportunities, their communities, and their lives. The Illinois Council on Women and Girls will ensure that our state takes a gender lens to our laws and policies, looking at the specific challenges and barriers facing women across the state. CFW is here to support a diverse council that brings together women from all backgrounds and identities from across our state, women of color, trans women, rural women, young women, and girls. We urge Governor Rauner to guarantee women a seat at the table by signing HB 5544. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Jessica Scheller, and I am appearing today with my daughter Charlotte on behalf of Women's March Chicago to ask Governor Rauner to sign the bill creating the Illinois Council on Women and Girls. As women across the country have watched, our goals for the future, for ourselves and our daughters, have been threatened. We believe our rights and those of our daughters are under attack. I promise not to do that.
You're doing great.
It's okay. Well, women will never claim that there has been parity and equality between and among us. Illinois women are standing together now to take steps to stop the turning back of the hands of time and to call upon Governor Rauner to create this important council. Illinois women and girls call upon Governor Rauner to sign the bill creating a task force which will allow us, the people, to advise our representatives about the impact of their legislation on the women and girls of this state. We are demanding the governor make room at the policy table for all women and those who identify as women. We are calling for an end to policy making by our representatives without full and direct participation of the women and girls affected. To borrow a phrase from the disability community activists and our sisters in this movement, we are calling for an end to legislation or policy about us that is made without us. The Illinois Council on Women and Girls seeks to offer advice on several core areas affecting Illinois girls, including ending discrimination in the workplace and providing equal educational opportunities for all Illinois girls, promoting resources for their academic and professional growth, and providing proper standards of health care to ensure that all Illinois women and girls have full access to medical care, including the care necessary to ensure that our reproductive choices, whatever those choices may be, are honored and that they are provided in a safe and affordable environment. Providing for the well-being of Illinois women and girls is not and should not be a partisan issue. We should all care about the future of Illinois children. Women's March Chicago asks Governor Rauner to seize this opportunity to be a leader among others and to make the Illinois Council on Women and Girls a reality. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Orrin Jacobson. I'm the Executive Director of Men for Choice. Our mission is simple: support women and educate men. As allies and partners, we dedicate our time and energy to engaging men in the fight for gender equity and speaking to them about their need to use their power and their privilege to make our cities, our states, and our country a more fair and equitable place. Today, I'm here to speak directly to one man, Governor Bruce Rauner. Governor, you are a man who's been blessed with tremendous privilege and power, and with that power includes an important obligation to use it to better the life of every single person in the state of Illinois. You know that we live in a fundamentally unequal culture, and women and girls bear the brunt of that inequality. The only way that we can change that inequality is by centering the idea of equity, by investing intentionally into systems and structures dedicated to creating the resources and strategies necessary to face that challenge. By signing this bill, you can take a significant step to make the state of Illinois a more equal and equitable place. This is not a partisan bill. It's not a bill that benefits Democrats at the expense of Republicans. It's a bill that will help every single woman and girl across our state. This is the type of bill that can and will change lives for decades to come. Most importantly, Governor, when you look back on your career of public service, this is the type of bill that you can be immensely proud of. With that, Governor Rauner, I hope you will join me and everyone at Men for Choice in supporting the women of this state and signing this bill into law. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is JAMILA, and I am the founder and CEO of Ladies of Virtue. I'm actually here with a group of my girls and team today. Ladies of Virtue is a mentoring and leadership program for girls of color ages 9 to 18. And on behalf of our organization, which includes the over 1,000 girls that we've served since 2011, we fully support the Illinois Council for Women and Girls. Girls are not just leaders of tomorrow, but they are our leaders of today. The time is now for girls to have more than just a seat at the table. The time is now for our girls to have a voice and have their voice to be heard across the state of Illinois. The time is now for our girls to shape policymakers on the state's priorities and direction, especially on issues that affect them. Let's listen to what they have to say. Governor Rauner, do the right thing. We urge you to sign House Bill 5544 into law expeditiously. Help us invest in the lives of our girls. Thank you.
Hello, my name is SHARMILI MAJMUDAR. I'm the interim CEO of Women Employed. Since 1973, Women Employed has opened doors, broken barriers, and crashed ceilings for millions of women. And as we celebrate the significant progress women have made over the last 45 years, we also know that there's still so much more we can accomplish by working together. That's why we're thrilled to support the establishment of the Illinois Council on Women and Girls. The Council's 9 impact areas are all important to advancing equity for women and girls, representing an intersectional women's agenda of diverse voices. Women Employed looks forward to supporting the charge of the Council by assisting in the development of policy that advances gender equity and reviewing legislation to ensure the impact on women and girls is positive, particularly those most economically vulnerable. We specifically look forward to working with the Council to provide expertise and information to our state legislators on issues like making college affordable, making childcare affordable, providing paid sick time and paid family leave to all Illinois workers, ensuring that the gender wage gap is closed, and protecting workers from harassment. We imagine working with the Council on legislation like the No Salary History Act that just passed during the recent legislative session. Yes. And which also will need the governor's signature. This law will help close the gender wage gap by making it illegal for employers to ask applicants about their prior earnings. When women start their careers earning less than their male counterparts, the resulting wage gap over their career represents hundreds of thousands of dollars, with women of color losing upwards to $1 million in lost wages. Especially today, on Black Women's Equal Pay Day, we believe salaries should be based on the skills, experiences, and requirements of the job, period. I'm proud to stand here today with this group of powerful leaders as we call on Governor Rauner to sign House Bill 5544 and establish the Illinois Council on Women and Girls.
Good morning. My name is Paloma Delgadillo, and I have the privilege of serving as president of the Chicago chapter of the National Organization for Women. To begin, I want to take a moment to remind everyone of why we're here. A Politico story on June 30th of 2017 reads, "White House Council for Women and Girls goes dark under Trump." This and so many other actions from our administration have shown us that we cannot expect leadership from the highest office in the land, but instead must lead within our own state. Though cited as redundant by the president, we want to stress today that it is anything but. When women systematically experience oppression, with women of color, LGBT women, disabled women, and low-income women suffering even more, we cannot in good conscience say that a council on women and girls is redundant or unnecessary. That is why, on behalf of Chicago Now, we demand Governor Rauner sign HB 5544 into law. Our state needs to show leadership and protect all people regardless of gender. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Julie LYNN, and I'm the Manager of External Affairs at Planned Parenthood of Illinois. Thank you to everyone standing up here today for your commitment to having women and girls at the table, but also having a voice at that table. Planned Parenthood wants to ensure that reproductive freedom is a reality for everyone in Illinois. The intersections of healthcare, economic justice, and workers' rights are all elements of reproductive freedom. In order for people to have reproductive freedom, they need to be able to make their own decisions about their reproductive lives and live in a societal structure that supports that agency. Planned Parenthood will work with all of the partners standing up here today to advise the governor on this council and to make sure that we achieve that goal. On behalf of the more than 66,000 patients that come to Planned Parenthood every year, I urge the governor to sign this bill.
So we did book the room out for 11:30, and I'm getting the buzz to wrap up. So there are 3 more speakers who have written statements that we will submit to the press for any questions that you have about their organizations. But we did want to open it up to any Q&A that the media may have for state legislators and, of course, MAARIA, who drafted the bill. So if State Representative MOELLER and Senator Collins can step forward, and if the media has any questions about the legislation in particular, they'd like to answer those questions. Oh, sorry.
Senator Collins, have you been in contact with the governor or his office to see why he has not yet taken action?
No, I think this is the beginning stage of the advocacy in reference, because usually a governor has 60 days. The bill was sent to the governor on June 19th. So we're approaching the 60-day, and if a bill is not necessarily signed into law in the 60-day period, it automatically becomes law. We want to start our activism and our call-ins now to make sure that he doesn't veto the bill, because we did get some pushback from some of the legislators, especially in the House, in reference to the passage of the bill. So this is really the start of our activism and using social media to convey to the message to the governor that we need you to sign the bill. And we would like to have a public signing, if possible.
Yes. Excuse me. No, I think the senator covered it. We see this as a very straightforward effort, and this should be an easy bill for him to sign. We are reaching August 19th is the deadline for him to take action, and we just hope that women and men across the state of Illinois who recognize the need for this council will call on the governor to sign the bill.
Did you have a lot of support from your male colleagues?
We did. My bill had in the House had support from male colleagues, and I believe in the Senate.
Sure.
Unfortunately, the partisan nature of Springfield did have an effect on the vote count with the legislation, and I think some of our Republican colleagues had issues with reproductive health care aspects of the bill, which I would like to remind everyone is a legal right that women have in Illinois, and should not be controversial. And you know, Governor Rauner has acknowledged that in the past as well, and we hope that he'll continue to support women and their access to reproductive health care.
And I just wanted to follow up on that question and that statement about the partisan politics when it comes to this council. The way that the council is designed is that it is open to both sides of the aisle. So we're not going to allow individuals to hide behind the idea that it's anything other than partisan politics. And we honor Republican women, we honor Republican sisters and daughters, and we want them at the table. Yes. That's why we're doing this.
Absolutely.
And I had the support in the Senate of all the Republican women. We don't have that many on that side of the aisle in the Senate, but I had the support of all except one.
Yeah.
Any final comments? Well, I would like to say that the first official partner that stepped forward to help with the coalition when I kind of came up with the idea to bring it here in the state of Illinois was United State of Women. which is a national organization and initiative that was started by former First Lady Michelle Obama. And as we know, and it's also headed and has liaisons like Tina Chin and Valerie Jarrett, who were the executive director and the chairwoman for the White House Council on Women and Girls. So we have had full support from the United States of Women. On the national level, this is something that potentially could be brought up in other states, right? Our goal was that they stripped it from the federal level, which was something that was just despicable in my opinion. And we brought it back as a law on the state level. And so the goal is to just teach women that we have to be fully engaged, get off of the sidelines, get to the policy tables, and that this isn't just a political and policy talking piece. This is about culturally shifting the way men look at women who stand in front of a room. We need to get them comfortable with that. This last primary, we had over 500 women who ran for office. Over 300 ended up on the ballot. Our political system is getting ready to look different. And so we want to posture ourselves, and Illinois has the chance in our 200-year celebration.
That's right.
We have the chance to stand in the forefront domestically and globally to say that we want to give equity and parity to women and girls.
All right.
Thank you so much. If the media has any other questions, the community partners are here for you to take quotes, and I just thank everybody for showing support and showing up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job.